in '99 in Oakland with the role players playing the part of enrolling Americans in the camp database. Then they're let out of the camp later, some of them, those that aren't killed, and then they have their face scanner everywhere they go. And now they've got satellites that do it, but not a face scan. It's a shadow scan and a gait scan. You know, your walk, your gait, how you step, a algorithmic system. They claim it's 100% now. So I wanted you to know about that. And they do have the towers up, and they are practicing screwing with everybody and playing God. So I hope you enjoy it. And it's right here in the mainstream news. We'll be right back with Bob Chapman.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Before time gets away from me, I wanted to briefly tell the listeners out there that if you really want to wake up your friends, your family, your neighbors, if we're going to have any chance of turning this around, information is key. And folks didn't want to know about the private Federal Reserve, at least a large portion of them 5, 10, 20 years ago, when so many valiant people like Bob Chapman, been doing this for almost 50 years, were trying to warn him. And, you know, he helped put out the book with Gary Allen that sold millions and millions of copies, None Dare Call It Conspiracy, that really finally woke me up when I was a teenager, you know, to the wider world, to the reality. But now we're a visual society, and I believe the film people need to see is The Money Masters, How Banks Create the World's Money. And Thomas Jefferson said, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing and ensuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. Here's James Madison. History records that the money changers have used every form of abuse, intrigue, deceit, and violent means possible to maintain their control over governments by controlling money and its issuance. James Madison. Now, you tell an FBI agent today, hey, the private Federal Reserve's private, they're setting up a world government. Here they are in hundreds of publications, mainstream news saying it. The FBI agent will say, you are insane, it doesn't exist, you are a terrorist. And you can say, but the founding fathers fought the same people. And they'll say, hey, my training manual says they were bad. And by the way, I'm not joking. You didn't know the training manuals actually say the founding fathers were terrorists and bad? See, I mean, that's what this giant re-education camp is they're teaching the public to be mentally ill. And then those of us that are sane, those of us that research how society operates and what the elite is openly saying they're doing and going to do, they've been told we're insane. Doesn't matter if we tell you 3 years before they're going to pop the subprime mortgage and bring in world government. And then it happens. Doesn't matter if we're right about everything. Doesn't matter if we're spot on. They will just say it isn't happening. Well, to their own peril. So I hope you'll go to Infowars.com and get The Money Masters, How Banks Create the World's Money. It's a 3.5-hour film, 1995. You will have a master's degree in how the Federal Reserve operates, who the New World Order are. I mean, here's a Woodrow Wilson clip, and then I'm going to Bob Chapman, internationalforecaster.com. I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all of our activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the most worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world, no longer a government of free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men, Woodrow Wilson. And he was hired. He wrote the book New World Order, called for world government, was fooled by the Federal Reserve bankers. Then he went public, started giving speeches, writing letters, and they murdered him, poisoned him. And his wife later wrote about that. And released a lot of his letters. So, again, The Money Masters available at Infowars.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. And don't forget Fabled Enemies. Man, I was watching this again a few days ago, and I'm just amazed that we make films this good. I mean, this needs to be seen. the latest, most hard-hitting info on 9/11 being an inside job. Truth rising. I mean, everybody's got to see these. You may be awake, but your neighbors and friends aren't. And now they see things are coming down. Now they heard patriots in the past warn them. Now they're listening. The World According to Monsanto, incredible film with another bonus film on the DVD and a free audio CD, 1995, about what you're really eating. Just absolutely life and death info, again, available at Infowars.com. Okay, that said, for the rest of the hour, we've got Bob Chapman with us. At a time before he retired, the biggest gold and silver private broker in the world. He also had the largest financial newsletter in the world. Then he retired. He's come back in the last decade and has one of the biggest yet again, the internationalforecaster.com. And I wanted to get him on today about The Economist, one of the most prestigious financial publications, saying U.S. in depression, not recession. Bob Chapman, great to have you here in the new year, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. It's great to be back again. A little hiatus this week. And first of all, that is a very important and unusual statement to be coming from The Economist. I can't quite figure out what they're after here. They're telling the truth, which is not normal for them because that publication is Illuminist controlled. And so there has to be another agenda here. Maybe they're preparing everybody for a depression. Maybe they want them to know that, in fact, that's where we're headed. And
they want to maintain their moral. They want to maintain their moral authority as if they told us, as if they weren't working for the very system that engineered it.
Yes, that would give them validity in something that was very well known among people who listen to your program and programs like it. And but the rest of the public doesn't know, so they're going to tell them. And, of course, that's justification, too, for the massive layoffs, the cutbacks in state services, which are being thrust upon them by inadequate preparation, being led down the garden path investment-wise, the freezing up of the municipal bond market, the over-hiring and overspending that's been going on in states for a long time, and in all of the things that come part and parcel with the downfall of the economy. And that leads us to, where are we headed? We have a new president, if in fact he takes office, which he probably will, whether he's a citizen or not. And the plan is for $1 trillion for domestic stimulus in a number of different areas.
And that'll be select payoffs to certain members of the establishment and different divisions of the economy so they play ball.
Exactly. And, of course, the drug and medical profession will be taken well care of with $100 billion extension into Medicaid, of which there's 50 million people on right now. And with the layoffs come the losing of company benefits, whether your health insurance is paid for by the company, by you and the company, or just by you. The fact that you've fallen out of the group means you don't have it anymore, and then you've got to visit Medicaid.
So it's a domino effect.
Yes, the figure could go to 60 or 70 million people pretty easily because you get children involved, et cetera, not just the employee. And so that is part of the stimulus package. And as you say, the stimuli, we'll use the Latin word for that, the stimuli will, in fact, go to, or the largesse will go to the anointed people within the elitist system.
To further centralize the entire control grid. Why do we have the Prime Minister of Canada coming out and saying depression? Why do we have, seeing a lot of elite spokesmen and publications now saying depression? And we go back to 10 weeks ago when the tens of trillions of theft began. I say tens of trillions, the last number's 8.5 trillion 3 weeks ago. They've been keeping it secret since then, but it was $1.3 trillion a week. So I guess it's up to 11, 12 trillion of the trends continuing. Well, I guess we'll find out sometime in the future what the shadow banking government's doing. The news is openly admitting it's a Wall Street coup. Mainline analysts are admitting that foreign offshore banks are taking over. We